Okay, so I'm here to talk about how fucked everything is. Everything. Let's start with the big one, racism. It's so ingrained into our everyday lives that no one ever stops to think about it because it's taught in history books like it's over. History books that we carry in our arms as 12-year-olds tell us racism is over and that it doesn't exist anymore. So they think what we have now is normal. They think it's normal that black people are still in ghettos after there were laws against them getting out of the ghettos. And they're still stuck there. They're still stuck there. And kids don't know that. And they're stuck in these ghettos with these poor schools, with these awful schools, and they don't have access to grocery stores. There are these food deserts where there's no grocery stores for miles, and the only places people have to get food from are mini marts. We're killing these people. We're killing them and keeping them in these ghettos in this awful, awful cycle. And then the war on drugs. It's not a war on fucking drugs. It's a war on black people. Not even just black people, people of color. It's a war on people of color. It's a war on, oh my god, it's a war of racism. And drugs were not a serious problem in America until the Soviet Union fell. America needed a new enemy, so they turned it in on themselves. Because that's what fucking idiots do, and that's what America is. America is just one big fucking idiot having the time of his fucking life. That's what America is. And so he turned it back in on himself and against these black people. Just to have an enemy. And so we create this war on drugs that doesn't really exist. Then we become the most incarcerated country in the world. More people are incarcerated in America than anywhere else. And America is nowhere near the biggest population. And we have the most incarcerations. And black people don't smoke. Black people don't smoke all the way as much as... I have this statistic right here. Hold on. Okay. Black people only comprise 14% of drug users, but are 53% of drug-related convictions. How fucked up is that? 14 is nowhere near 53. So that means all these fucking white people, like, maybe like me, maybe not like me, maybe I'm too Mexican, but all these white people enjoying incarceration, enjoying institutionalized racism without realizing it, and all these black people are incarcerated. And why do you need to be incarcerated for smoking weed or doing ecstasy? Like, what the fuck? Why do you need to be incarcerated for that? How are you a harm to the public? You're just doing your thing, like having a good time yourself. Like, what the fuck? Why do you need to incarcerate them? It's just so fucked up. Oh my god. And the public doesn't realize this. People like my parents, God, I love them to death, but they don't realize this. Okay, so we started with racism, and that went into schooling, kind of. Okay, now, that's a good segue. So you look at the world today, and you think problems like racism could easily be solved if people weren't so stupid. Okay, this sounds like really conspiracy theory-ish, but the powers that be keep the general population stupid. That's why, I don't know, like, that's why universities cost so much, even public universities. And I'm talking, like, not community college, sorry, like, I'm talking big schools, or like UCLA, places of actual higher education. They're optional, and, well, they're not even optional, they're a privilege to those who can maybe possibly afford these insane prices. So, I mean, if you want to keep people dumb, you make being smart really fucking expensive. There's one. Don't you think if the government wanted a smart country, we would all be so much more educated? Oh my god, can you believe? That's such a thought. Oh my god. The smart kids. Because you can't just, if there are already smart kids that somehow make it past the system, then you can't ignore them because they'll know. And you can't feed them bullshit because they'll know. So what do? You separate them and put them in their own classes. They get their own fucking classes, so you can teach them the smart stuff and let that small group learn the smart stuff. But you cut them off from everyone else and keep everyone else unaware. You cut them off. Oh, it's so genius and subtle that no one would understand. But you cut them off. You separate them. No one's any the wiser. They think you're helping them. They think you're just helping the really special kids to just be all that they can be. Yeah. They really want us to be all that we can be. What else is there? Let me look at my notes from my class today because it was just so eye-opening. Trade! Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot trade. This one's really fucked up. I forgot about trade. So, there are these organizations, some of them like government instituted, but of course they are, like the World Trade Organization, which is really all these countries getting together, and they're supposed to be figuring out free trade. Of course they're going to trade with each other. They want more fucking money. Why wouldn't they trade with each other? It's ridiculous. It's absurd to me. They wouldn't naturally trade with each other. Come on. So that's okay. So there are these absurd organizations like the World Trade Organization, which is really all these companies coming together to say, okay, you get this Chinese child labor, but I'll get this Vietnamese child labor. That's all they do. That's all they do. It's because it's not fair trade. It's free trade, free for them. Not fair trade, which would mean some sort of global minimum wage, something, so the people aren't getting paid fucking 5 cents a day. And something that says child labor is bad. And they're, oh my god, it's so fucked up. So fucked up. Oh, and so these people making all these decisions to take labor to these poor ass countries, and away from their own country, they have no sense of nationalism. What they have is a sense of me. That's why McDonald's is investing $1 billion in fucking China. Not that investing in China is bad, but that they don't give a shit about fucking America. They don't give a shit about fucking America when they be making billions in China. They don't give a shit. They have no moral standing. They just do not give a shit. Oh my god. So these people with all the money making all these fucked up decisions, they have all the fucking money. And so problems like world hunger, like it would take $30 billion to solve world hunger. $30 billion. They're fucking trillionaires out there. You know how much $30 billion is to a trillionaire? That's not fucking shit. There's people with all this money that can solve world hunger, solve it multiple times over. There are people with that much money who aren't fucking doing it and are letting billions of people die from something as trivial as hunger. Can you comprehend that? Can you fathom that? Oh my god. And there's so many more problems. I didn't even touch on sexuality, religion, and then we're distracted by all this stuff because of things like E online. Like, what the fuck is E on this planet for? I don't want to see inside Robert Pattinson and FKA Twigs' date night. Like, I don't give a shit if they went to eat at some fucking New York City restaurant. Why do I give a shit? But I'll read it, I'll read about it, and I'll look at the pictures instead of focusing on all the shit out there. That's what I'm gonna do, and that's what everyone else is fucking gonna do. Well, I think I'm done. Should I talk? Okay, no, I'm done. I'll go over religion and all that shit later.